Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and like I promised, the vehicle we're taking a look at today is in Russian, but instead it's a Swedish anti-air system. However, the Ito-90M isn't only unique to Sweden, as France also possesses a model of this, so if you're grinding for the French tree, this review and overview will also apply to you. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video, where as always we'll be following the usual format of history, performance, weaponry, playstyle, and the summary. But I might make a slight adjustment to the playstyle segment, as this vehicle is purely a SAM system and does not have any other offensive weaponry like cannons. So when it comes down to killing ground vehicles, I will be excluding MBTs from the list, but not completely. Anyways, that took a bit long. Let's dive right into the history. So, the Ito-90M, believe it or not, is actually not a domestic Swedish vehicle either, but instead is a joint project between the Finnish and the French. The development of the Ito-90M began in 1988, spanning all the way until the early 90s. The goal of the Ito-90M was to create a more mobile and more effective SAM system that can stick to advancing forces and protect them from aerial threats, unlike the heavier stationary SAM system which takes time to deploy and set up. Now, how is the performance of the Ito-90M? The Ito-90M is powered by a 275 horsepower engine, allowing this vehicle to travel at a speed of 110 km per hour on a paved road. But in a realistic scenario, you can expect up to 50 to 60 km per hour or even lower. Its reverse gear isn't lacking either, as it can get you up to a speed of negative 35 km per hour, so if you're ever in a bind, the reverse gear might just save your life. Now let's take a look at its protection. The Ito-90M is protected by 8mm of rolled homogeneous armor, with the thickest part of the vehicle being its armored glass coming in at 60mm. So with that in mind, you're definitely not an MBT, and 50 cals can rip you to shreds if you're not careful, so the front line is definitely not where you want to be. Now, that alone, like the Tunguska that we took a look at in the previous video, isn't enough to make this vehicle bad per se, which brings us to our next topic, the weaponry. The weaponry of the Ito-90M is quite simple, so we'll also be taking its radar into the equation as part of its armaments. The Ito-90M comes equipped with 8 VT-1 SAM launchers and the Crowtail Search and Track Radar, which gives this SPA great tracking abilities. Pair that with the fastest missile in the game, and that makes almost every aircraft in the air cannon fodders. But don't get overconfident, as you can still die from many factors that are outside of your control. So, let's take a look at the VT-1 missile. The VT-1 SAM, originally being available only to the Flak Rad Rack system, can travel at a speed of 1,250 meters per second, which can even challenge most APFSDS round and heat shells of the battle rating. Despite it only having 59mm of penetration, it comes with 6 kilograms of explosive, which at times could either brute force its way through a light vehicle or overpressure some MBTs if you're lucky. But just because that's a possibility doesn't mean that you should go tank hunting, as that's an easy way to get a one-way ticket back to the hangar. So that brings us to our next topic, the playstyle. So how should you play this vehicle? Well, the armor is thin, you lack offensive weaponry, and you go pretty fast. So I would recommend playing super passively, and by that I mean sitting in your spawn and ruining the days of every cast player in the lobby. In more open maps, you could move up with your team slightly, but that will expose you to enemy fire, especially since you're such a big target. So now we're on to the last subject of the day. Is this vehicle worth it? Should you grind Sweden just for this vehicle? Well, I wouldn't say grind a tree you don't want just for this vehicle, but if you do, then I can't stop you. But in my opinion, this is one of the best SAM systems in the game, being mobile and having a great set of weapons. So if you're grinding for Sweden or considering grinding it, I would highly recommend that you aim for this anti-aircraft system. So that wraps up this video for today. What did you think of it, and what is your favorite SAM vehicle in the game? Feel free to tell me in the comments below, and I will try to respond to it as best I can when I return. Anyways, I sincerely hope that you all enjoyed this video or found it helpful. Feel free to subscribe and leave a like to keep up my future content. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.